Isn't that fucking crazy, dude? Like, and this is what happens on the fiat standard, man. Like when I was in school, I dreamt about making over $100,000 a year. You know, I was like, one day I'll make over 6 figures a year, and I'll be like freaking rich in my mansion. No, oh yeah. The only reason is because they print more, and they'll not. They will continue printing more. They're not gonna stop printing more, and there's gonna be more people like me that are desperate who are gonna die, and they're not gonna freaking make it. Then COVID started happening and the rates started changing. The very first time the rates changed on me, I was like, why? Why are they doing that? Like, just for no reason? And nobody could really explain it to me, and still can't today as to why they just randomly change it every 2-3 years. And then during COVID, all of the tenants like basically just stopped paying rent.
Meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Yeah, we just always see you on the timeline. Yeah, good to see your face.
Yeah, you too.
Yeah.
So, where are you at?
Right now I'm at my house. I don't have that great of a setup. I just got like, I'm in my living room-ish area. And I got my backyard over there. My mom's out with my doggo right now, and I'm just here. I'm technically working from home, but here we are.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, yeah. I like the Satoshi there. The Ghost of Satoshi there that you got. That's pretty cool, man.
Yeah. I had to get one when it became available. I was like, I gotta buy one.
I gotta get it. Yeah, it's me too. It's been on my to-do list as well. So probably. Nah, thanks for the reminder.
I know.
Yeah.
I have like blank walls in my house still, so I'm like, I need something behind me besides
Yeah.
the wall.
Yeah. That's awesome.
What's up, dude? So the journey, man. Dude, tell me about your journey. I don't even really know that much about you because, I mean,
Oh yeah.
it's limited interactions on X, so it's a lot nicer to talk to people. But, dude, yeah, tell me about your journey to Bitcoin.
Fuck, dude. I mean, I obviously we've met on the timeline quite a bit. I act pretty stupid on the timeline. So, but yeah, man. I honestly I started 2.5 years ago on X, actually, maybe even 3 years ago on X, and I was like, I was at a point of like just complete desperation, dude. It was bad. I don't know what it's like in the States. I know what it's like here for real estate. So I was in real estate for about 10-ish years.
Oh, yeah, you're in Canada, right?
Yeah, I'm in Canada. Freaking save me, dude. You gotta save me. Yeah. 10 years, right, in real estate, and it's different in the States because you guys get an interest rate, and then it's fixed for 30 years, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're just chilling for 30 years. You're coasting. You get an interest rate. You're good. Here in Canada, they just change it every 2-3 years, and you have no idea what they're gonna change it to, and you're like, whoa.
Wait, so you guys are like mandatory to have an adjustable rate, basically?
Yeah. Basically, yeah. Every 2 to 3 years, I have to refi, and it's a different rate every single time. Yeah.
Dude, I did not know that about Canada. That's wild.
Wild, insane.
That's like torture, man. That's so brutal.
So like every 2 to 3 years, you have no idea if you're gonna get a refi, right? And you're just like, holy shit, like what do I do now? Like what? Say for example, like market crashes, right? And something like COVID happens, and then you have to refi in 2 years, and then the time comes up, and they're just like, well, your house is now worth $200,000 as opposed to your loan, which is like $700,000. Good fucking luck. We're not giving, like.
Dude, yeah, I remember when my uncle, he bought like an investment property in like 2020, 2021.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, I got an adjustable rate mortgage. And so his mortgage was, he got like 2.5% or something. And I'm like, that's awesome. Congratulations. But he didn't tell me it was an adjustable rate.
Oh, no.
And then follow up, we ended up getting together, and I was like, just asking him how things are going. And he's like, man, the rates are killing me. Like my mortgage has gone up like, it was like $800 a month or something.
Oh my God, that's ridiculous.
Because, I mean, if your rates go from 2.5 to 6 or 7, I mean, that can bankrupt you.
Basically, if it's like $1 million house, you're paying what, like 7K a month? Like,
Yeah,
you're
yeah, and
absolutely right.
he bought his house up in Boston, and I'm like, okay, Boston is also one of the most expensive markets you can purchase in the United States. I mean, New
Okay.
York, San Francisco, and then you have like Boston, like Massachusetts. It's so expensive. I have no idea what real estate is like up in Canada, but educate me.
It's it's freaking same everywhere, you know. And it's just like like over here in Ottawa, what I found is that the supply is insane. So like lots of people putting their houses up for sale, but nobody's buying. And nobody's buying mainly because the rates are way too high, and two because they change every 2 3 years. And like you see advertisements on car radios and stuff where they're just like telling people, oh, it's better to rent, don't own. It's less stress free to rent than own. And I've never seen ads like this in my life before, you know. And like they're just telling people to freaking not own anything and be happy. Essentially, the world, that's where I was, you know, in terms of like just dying in real estate. Every 2 3 years, you're just sitting there like, shit. I don't know if I'm gonna have to pay $10,000 this month or like $5,000 this month. You know, like, and I had 7 or 8 of them, houses, and I was renting them out to people. And it was going great, you know. 2% interest rate. Fuck, man, I was chilling. I was raking in some mad money, dude. It was great. It was great for the time that it lasted, and then COVID started happening, and the rates started changing. And the very first time the rates changed on me, I was like, why? Why are they doing that? Like just for no reason? And nobody could really explain it to me, and still can't today as to why they just randomly change it every 2 3 years. And I'm sitting here like, oh, so it's just a magic number that this computer puts in randomly based on what's going on in the market supposedly. And then the worst of the worst happens, because then like the interest rate started going up, I was paying more, then COVID hits, and then during COVID all the tenants like basically just stopped paying rent. And you're sitting there like, well, now what the fuck do I do with my now I'm down. Now I'm down like, you know, 5 6% on a house for the interest rate, which was 2 3%. So I'm down 3%. And then on top of that, nobody's freaking paying me. They're like, the tenants aren't paying me. And then you go into this thing called the landlord and tenancy board, to, you know, put in the application to get the tenants out, because like, why are you not paying me? And then they go, well, yeah, you know, the cases are delayed out for two years, so we're not going to be able to do anything. And well, I'm like, well, what do I do in that time? Well, you can't do anything. And it's like, okay, so now you have squatters that are not paying you rent, and then now your house interest rate is 6% as opposed to 2%, and then the loan is like $500,000, so you're paying like at least 3K a month, and then you're like, holy crap, like 7 houses times 3, 20K. You know, where am I getting this money from, man? Like that's crazy. On top of the house that I'm actually living in, and oh man, I was like, I was gonna like off myself, dude. That shit was bad.
Dude, I'm surprised you don't have like any gray hairs or any shit.
I do. They're starting, dude. Oh man, I went through some I don't know. Even like it started. The hair loss started for a bit, and then it stopped. You know, but it was bad. It was freaking bad.
Well,
And then
I mean, they were raising interest rates because they printed a fuck ton of
a
money,
fuck ton of money.
and then they're like, "Oh, well, inflation. Well, that's not our fault. I wonder why inflation's going up. I don't know. We should raise interest rates. That will
Yeah, that will solve it.
we'll just make everyone really poor so they can't afford anything, and then they'll
And then
think
inflation will disappear, quote unquote. You know, and nobody can actually freaking understand this, because like they're in like a desperate situation like me. So they're not going to ask themselves a question like, what is inflation, or what is money? You know, or why am I dying? You know, like freaking I got out of school with a 50K salary, and I was balling the fuck out. I was balling out more on a 50K salary than I am right now, and I'm like double, like more than double my salary now, and I'm sitting here like, what the hell? I'm making less, like no purchasing power. And you're just sitting there. Like, holy crap, man, it was bad. It was bad. So then I was like going to private lenders to get the extra loans. And then that sucks even more because the private lenders are like, well, you might have your house interest rate at 5%, and you need another $100,000 to cover the refi. I'll give you this $100,000 at like a 20%. And you're like, well, what else do you do? Like, you can't do shit. So now you're paying that loan, and you're like, oh my God, like, where's the time go where you have to ask yourself, what is money? Why do I have to keep doing this on like a plus six figure plus job, right? I shouldn't be getting a private lender loan
Just to live.
just to live. Like, what the fuck? And then I was sitting there like, oh my God, what is the problem? Like, why am I just dying? Why was I doing so well 6 7 years ago, and I'm not doing so well now? And I had to ask myself that question. So I got onto Twitter. I was just like, okay, I'm gonna join. It had nothing to do with Bitcoin. It had nothing to do with Bitcoin, me joining Twitter. I joined Twitter and I was like copywriting. I was like, fuck, I need to survive. I need to make more money. People are making like 10K, 15K a month doing online businesses or whatever. Maybe I should give it a go. Maybe I should try copywriting. Maybe I'm just not working hard enough. Like, people are right. I'm just not working hard enough.
All the generations above us, yeah,
Yeah.
all our parents and grandparents. You're just not
Exactly.
working hard enough. It's like,
Yeah, like,
okay.
come on, work harder. I'm like, okay, fine. And then I get like, like the whole Andrew Tate and like Jordan Peterson and like all these people. I started getting into them because it's just like, I'm clearly not working hard enough, because obviously 10 years ago I was doing well, and 10 years later I'm not, right? So I'm just sitting here like, what is going on? So I joined like the Andrew Tate's Real World thing, and then I joined like these bunch of like copywriting business like Discord groups, and like a bunch of like stock market Discord groups. I'm like, frick, I gotta make money to figure out how to survive. And then that wasn't working because it all felt scammy for like a solid like 6 months. It just all felt super scammy. Where it's like, yeah, I mean, sure, I'm good with my words and I can tell stories and I can help you sell stuff, but here, also buy my course.
Dude, I hate that. I hate that shit.
Yeah.
I've fallen for it. I think every man has fallen for some sort of like, hey, buy my course and then you can do it too. And it's
Exactly.
like, and then you buy their course and it's like, yeah, get off your ass, you lazy piece of shit. And
Yeah,
then
work harder.
You're like,
I'm like,
okay.
did I just pay $1,000 to get told I'm not working hard enough? This is on top of the 20K that I gotta pay per month. Like, oh shoot, dude, like there's so many things. And then I saw Twitter Spaces. I got onto Twitter Spaces, and I was in the copywriting, like the whole Money X niche. I was in it for like a solid 5 6 months, and I like talked to people. It was just so exhausting because they're like, post every day, post 2 3 times a day, always add value, always never have fun. Like, freaking sell your courses, make this money ARR, and you'll have a freaking ghostwriting business. I'm like, man, I'm sitting there like, I don't give a fuck. Like, I don't give a fuck about this thing. Like, I just want to make some money to survive. And then, if you think about it and you sit with yourself, it's like desperate people just want to make money to survive. They don't care who they're scamming. They don't care what they're doing. They just want to do something. So they're on Twitter, like, looking at these gurus do it, and then they do it, and then it's not the same because obviously you don't have the value or the knowledge in the niche to be able to offer anything. So you end up doing the shortcuts, which is like going into Google or ChatGPT and stuff, and then AI modeling all your freaking work and then selling it to somebody for $70 $80 a month when they themselves could have done the exact same thing and gotten it for free. And it's just like, it felt super scammy, super. And then somehow, just by luck or whatever, I landed onto Bitcoin in one of the Twitter Spaces, right? And I think it was Gary Cardone's Twitter Space, and they were talking about, back then they were talking about like, what is your genius? And there's so many people on this space. So like, I go on this space, and then people start talking about Bitcoin, and I'm on the stage at this point as the journeyman. Like, I was known for just going on to every possible space and just talking. Like, I just go on to any space ever, all the time, hit request. I wouldn't even know what the topic was about, but I'd just get on there, just talk to fucking people, because just make some friends. And so I got into Gary Cardone's space. I do the exact same thing. And I'm like, yeah, guys, I have no idea what you're talking about. What the hell is Bitcoin? And then these guys bombard me with like knowledge. They're just like, read this, do this, look at this. This is why you're. I'm like, holy crap. The answer to like most of why I've been failing at life is in this space. And that was just so hard for me to comprehend. It's like, how is the answer to everything in life in this space? So then I go off and I'm like, there's obviously like over 1.2K people in this space that think this is the answer to everything. So maybe I'm missing something. So then I start reading the books they gave, right? Like I started reading the Bitcoin Standard. And halfway through that, I was obviously joining spaces, and then I heard about Michael Saylor, and then I saw his PhD MIT course online, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna go through this. Like, going through this entire course versus I'll save the books for later, but I'll go through this course just to understand what the hell everything is. And then, man, he broke down like history of money, history of people, history of generations, science, like bartering, everything, just things that I didn't even know. And I'm like, wow. Like, people should ask themselves, what is money? If they want to get out of like desperate situation. Like, this the first question. It's the first question you have to ask yourself in terms of self-awareness, because it's like, how are you using money without knowing what money is? And I bet you like 90% of the people or normies outside are using money and they don't know what money is. They don't know the properties of money. They don't know what it should be. They don't know what inflation is. They don't know anything. Nothing. It's crazy. And
No,
then,
I bet it's higher than 90%, dude. Like, I mean, I talk to friends that, I mean, they're like really into stocks, they're really into
yeah.
bonds, they're really into investing, and they still can't answer like, what's inflation, what is money, and they're like, yeah, they draw a blank. It's just like, well, no, you get 10% a year in the S&P, right? And it's like, no, that's
No.
yeah, that's it, and it's just like.
Man. And they don't verify, they don't ask. They come up with an answer in their head, and they're like, that's got to be it. I don't really have the time, or I don't have the patience to look into this. I just got to make more. I'm like, well, fuck, dude, what are you making? Like you understand? You know?
Dude, my wife and I think when we got married, I think she was making 45K a year.
Yeah.
And I think I was probably making about 47K a year. So together we were like right around the like 90 to like 100K range with bonuses and all that crap.
Yeah.
And dude, I thought we were balling.
Just
like
straight up, right?
Like we were living good, I thought. And now my wife makes more than we did combined, plus an extra like 30-40% per year.
Yeah.
And it feels like we make less. And
isn't that fucking crazy, dude? Like, and this is what happens on the fiat standard, man. Like, when I was in school, I dreamt about making over $100,000 a year. I was like, one day I'll make over 6 figures a year, and I'll be like freaking rich in my mansion. No. And the only reason is because they print more, and they will continue printing more. They're not going to stop printing more. And there's going to be more people like me that are desperate who are going to die, and they're not going to freaking make it. And it's going to suck, and they won't have any idea why. And they're just going to think, well, it's just normal inflation. And it's just like, no, they did the same thing in Russia with the ruble. Back when it went through hyperinflation, they reported different numbers when the actual inflation was something else. Like, at one point, the actual inflation was 2,500%, and they were reporting 20, 30. Okay, so like, what is inflation then? And then you start looking at it, and it's just a vectored quantity, because they put in anything into this bucket just to make their narrative work. And you're like, well, how can they do that? Well, can I print my own money? And no, because if you print your own money, that's counterfeiting, and you go to jail, and that's illegal. But they can do it, and that's rebalancing of the market.
Yeah. No, it's insane. And the gaslighting is off the charts, dude. I mean, if you turn on like any news station, and it's the big businesses, it's the billionaires' fault. It's never the government's fault.
No.
Somehow the government does just fine because they're close to the money printer, and so they're all crushing it. And no, it's big business. It's not.
Well, yeah, and they'll print the money and they'll blame the big businesses, and the big businesses are just there like, well, if you're going to print the money and blame us, well, we're just going to take all of that and put it onto the consumer, because why wouldn't you, right? Like, if you're a big business and you're getting wrecked by the government, you're on a fiat system, you're going to survive. In order to survive, you're going to put it onto the consumers. You're going to. It's just you don't have a choice, right? Otherwise, you get wrecked. You yourself get wrecked through taxes, and like that's the hot potato of the fiat game. It's just like, okay, well, I don't want to get wrecked, so I'm going to give it to the consumer. Because he was like, I don't want to get wrecked. I'm going to give it to my freaking future kids. The future kids, I don't want to get wrecked. I'm going to start a business. And then here we go, all over again.
No, it's absolutely true, and it's insane. And honestly, I don't even know what I would do if I didn't have Bitcoin, because
Yeah,
I literally don't. I'm like, I, if I didn't find Bitcoin, I don't know where I would be at, because that was the only thing that I found that was like an answer to it, because
exactly.
everything else was another sort of fiat scam in a way.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, unless you find a way to make $1 million a year or sell some business, or, I mean, you're stuck. You're screwed.
Completely screwed. And man, even in terms of the desperation, I was completely screwed. Like I know how that feels, dude. Like at $20,000 negative on cash flow every month, and I was like, "Fuck." And I found Bitcoin. I'm glad I found Bitcoin at the time I did, because obviously it was going up. And I think about it now in terms of like, okay, well, what if I had found Bitcoin during a bear, right? And like you're in a desperate situation and you find Bitcoin during a bear market, and like, what does that kind of do to the psyche? Like, how do you still hodl through, and how do you still work through, and how do you still tell that person that, dude, Bitcoin is still the answer, even though, your fiat representation is still going down. I think the universe might just you have to prove to the universe that you got to do some more work, right? To get back into the, and that's what it is. Like, what is power? It's like the change in energy over time. So you're obviously displacing some amount of energy over time to, give yourself some type of power. And if the amount of energy that you're dispersing over time is being paid for back in paper that has no value, then you're effectively giving your power mathematically to the people that are giving you the fake currency, right? Because you're dispersing your time, your energy for them over a certain amount of time for them. They're paying you back in nothing, so they're scamming you. And like now you extrapolate that out to everything, and then everything's a scam. Everything is on fiat's a scam, because that's how it just feels like. Like even this whole like genius bill that they talk about, nothing's genius about it, and it's not even a bill. It's just like everything is fake. The whole gaslighting is insane on the fiat standard, and like you just go on this entire Ponzi scheme. So what do you tell this person that finds Bitcoin in a bear market? And it's like
Well, that's when conviction. That's why I almost think it's more important to first, if you're gonna tell them to buy Bitcoin, tell them to just put a small amount in. That's
yeah,
my not financial advice, but this is my advice.
yeah,
I always suggest just put a small amount in, because then if you lose it, you're not going to get wrecked.
yeah,
But once you have a small amount in, then you start paying attention. You start watching, and even if the value goes down over time, you're like, okay, well, it's going down. Why is it going down? Maybe you'll learn about it. But the only way to survive through like a 4-year cycle of, having to the next having bear market, bull market, you know, the only way to survive through that is conviction and through
yeah. There's
through
nothing.
education.
Education and conviction is probably the only things. I think we all talk about freedom and how Bitcoin sets you free, but I think Bitcoin, like freedom itself, starts in your own mind first. Like you have to just in your mind free yourself from the shackles of fiat. Essentially, it's like a disease, and it changes your entire psyche. Like fiat changes your entire psyche, the way you think, and Bitcoin reverses that and probably fixes it for you, because like again, studying and conviction is probably the only way. Like your dollar value might be going down, but once you learn about it, you realize that dollar value doesn't really fucking matter at all, in any way whatsoever, because again, fiat's a scam. So that means the unit bias is the problem, and if the entire world is on a unit bias of fiat, then the entire world is fucking wrong. Because like, what's the difference between the fiat currency and monopoly money? Like nothing. Like nothing. There is
An
no.
army, about an army is
Yeah.
behind the US dollar. That's about it.
And you know what the funniest question is? Okay, well, you you guys have an army. You have an army, and you can't do anything about the people that are printing fucking trillions of dollars of your freaking power away. Nothing. You have an army versus people telling. Okay, that's like me coming up to you and being like, "Hey, dude, you owe me $100,000 even though you don't," and you have an army. Like, like you're gonna sit there like, dude, have you seen all these fucking? I don't know, you shit. And then like, they have an army and they're not doing anything, and then that has to like really just you have to sit there and be like, well, why? How does that make any sense to anybody whatsoever? Um, and it's just like then you realize, well, they're also being paid out on a fiat dollar standard, so you're just like sitting there.
Well, I mean, that's one thing that like is the biggest leap. That's why people say like orange pilled, because once that like clicks in your head and you realize that money's pretty much fake and it's
Yeah,
all bullshit, once that clicks, all of a sudden you just start seeing the world in a different way. And
completely.
but that's like the hardest point because to get to that point takes you to reevaluate your entire past and everything you've been taught, because everything you've been taught has told you no, that is, this is the way, and if you
Yeah,
don't do this, then you're, I don't know, pick a name, pick a slur, that's
yeah,
what
right.
you are, and that's what they're going to put on you. And so that's like the hardest part, is just to free your mind of what you've been conditioned, to be their slave, to be the
Yeah.
fiat slave. And it's incredibly hard to get out of. But once you do, it's probably like the most freeing feeling.
It's like the most it relates to almost every single thing you do in life, right? Because it's energy at the end of the day, right? Like that's what this is. It's energy. And so energy displacement is so important because the energy you displace has a certain amount of power to it. So that means proof of work means everything, right? So like what you said in terms of being free and mentally, like help me quit smoking, for example, right? Like the smoking, you quit smoking, and then man, your lungs feel completely free, right? Completely free. Sure, they crave the freaking nicotine, like you want the head rush all the time, but like your lungs are free, and like 5 days in, and you're like freaking, oh my god, I can breathe, I can swim, I can run, I can walk, right? And it's like, and then that relates to working out too, because how do you get you don't just get deezed, or you don't just get freaking peeled in one gym sesh, right? Like you have to go every single day, and slowly over time you get peeled, right? And it's just proof of work, right? And that's the same with Bitcoin. You DCA slowly over time and you get free, just completely fucking free. But that's why it relates to everything energy. So it's like, okay, how does it change your habits? Well, it makes you work out harder, it makes you eat better, it makes you quit smoking, it makes you it makes you just organically become want to like scale your own energy personally, in terms of what you do, because that'll make you stronger, that'll make you breathe better, that'll make you think better, that'll make you just do everything better, right? Now you're on this path of uh, compounding your own freedom, not through just your own energy, but through Bitcoin and wealth as well. Like what else? What else is there? And like once that clicks for you, you try to explain it to others. Every single other person you try to explain it to, if they don't understand it, that conversation just feels like I've lost patience for mediocrity in conversations. You know what I mean? Uh,
Yes.
like I can't talk to fiat normies. I just can't. Like I talk to them and then they'll say something, which is the answer is there in what they're saying in terms of, oh man, you just have to do proof of work and expend a little bit of energy and just do the thing. And then they won't. Their entire conversation is all on like a victim mentality kind of mindset. And
Too.
man,
I hate the victim mentality.
yeah,
Uh, I mean, that's like, I think I posted that like what, 2 weeks ago or something. I was like, victim mentality is gonna be one of the biggest regrets of the younger generations, because it's being taught even more now. Every older generation is like, oh, the younger generation, what a bunch of pussies, you know.
Yeah,
It keeps going, but I think, you know, our grandparents to our parents, it was like this much of a difference. And then our
yeah.
parents to us was this much. And now I'm like, dude,
It's getting bigger.
it's big. And like the
It's
victim mentality is like, I'm owed everything. You know, I deserve this, I deserve that. And it's like, you don't deserve shit.
yeah. Yeah, the
I,
entitlement is crazy, dude. It's fucking insane. Like I was partying at a bar just this past week, and like just the entire, like it's like I'm 31, all right, and sure these kids that are coming to, I'm going to dance. I'm not really. I'm just gonna go have a good time. And these kids, they're like 20, 21 years old, and this like a group of girls are standing in front of me, man. I fucking, I love just dicking around with people that are just rude and mean, and like they were talking to my friend about like just something because he's like a amateur MMA kind of UFC guy, so he does like training and stuff like that. So these girls obviously they can't beat him up, right? They can't. But this girl looks at him and is like, I can beat you up, and it's just like he's just like I've never talked to you in my life. Why are you? What is this conversation about in the first place? Do you even know who I am? And then she's just like, well, yeah, as a guy, you wouldn't hit me back. And then he was just like, if you hit me first, I 100% would hit you back. And then her friend chimes in, I have a 4-year law degree that I just recently got, and I know everything. And I'm like, holy shit, like, this is what I mean by entitlement. My point is, like, you get one degree, and now you think, the world owes you fucking everything, right? And this is where the gap is coming, because when I got out of school, I didn't think the world owed me everything. I still thought I had to work for my worth and my value and my reputation. And these kids are like, oh, 4-year degree, I'm in now. I know everything. I'm like the end all be all of everything, and the world owes me like money, infinite amounts of money. Oh, and I also need to date a 6-foot guy, 200 pounds, absolutely deezed, making $700,000 a year. And it's just like, what the, what the fuck, dude? Did I just walk into? And you're right, the gap is getting so much bigger. The gap is getting so much bigger, and the entitlement is so insane. And you try to talk to them about it, they're like, listen, what you're thinking here, what you're doing, there might be a little bit of a lapse. Why don't you try and think this way? First off, they think you're attacking them because you just told them to think separately. And
yeah,
then
how dare
second off,
you?
they're like, yo, 4-year degree, I know more than you. And you're just like, wow, I just have no patience for mediocrity in these conversations anymore. It's just like, you have a degree, but do you know what you're doing? Do you know why you're doing it? Do you even want to be doing that? And that's a big thing. On fiat, people don't even have a quote unquote purpose, right? They'll go out and say stuff like, "Oh, you need to have like an ever adapting purpose. It's okay to have an ever changing purpose. It's okay to have different interests all the time." Um, sure, but it's different from the people that actually own their energy, right? Their purpose is to scale their own energy. So when they say it's okay to have like different purposes, it means they're okay to scale their energy in things they're genuinely interested in because their energy is given that significance back, right? And they're usually Bitcoiners, right? So like they're doing things that are um, not only scaling the niche, but also scaling their value and worth within that niche because they know what it is to do the proof of work. As opposed to fiat, where they're just like, I'll do this, that, this, that, this, that, and I'll be a jack of all trades. And I can say that because I that was me. It's like jack of all trades, master of none, And I had no purpose, and I was just like, man, I don't engineering wasn't really something I was interested in. Doctor wasn't something I was interested in. Lawyer wasn't something I was interested in. And that's the only fields I had to go into because, cultural upbringing and stuff like that. But then I got into Bitcoin and I'm like, wow, now I'm learning about quantum freaking mechanics overnight. What's a freaking qubit and what's like how like I'm now fully interested in physics and like rocket science and like nature and nurture and even the small little aspects of philosophy and astronomy and everything and that it's insane because it all relates back to this one singular entity, which is Bitcoin. And I'm like, wow, well, there's my single purpose now. um,
And I think that's what the fiat standard has done to so many people over time. Why that gap gets bigger. I mean, I would be interested to see if that gap of like self entitlement tracked with how much money they printed, because
Oh, that's a good little graph
you
to
know what I
check,
mean?
eh?
Because if it's like, they printed like 2 trillion, and it's like, okay, self entitlement went up 20%, and then it's like they printed 40. It's like they just keep printing more. So like your self entitlement, I don't know, but that's
Dude,
just
that's a banger tweet too. You could just be like, self entitlement goes up 20% for every $2 trillion they print. I might actually tweet that out today.
do it.
That's awesome.
No, I mean it's kind of true, because the more you're on a fiat standard, the more they teach you to be on a fiat standard. You know, being on a fiat standard is a depreciating value. So of course your self-worth is going to depreciate with that value. So no wonder we're like depressed, anxious,
Yep.
miserable people, most unhealthy we've ever been, at least in the United States, than we've ever been. And it's like, yeah, well, no shit. Like, people hate themselves. They struggle to get out of bed. They don't want to have kids. Why? Because
Yeah.
you can't afford to have a kid.
Yeah.
Who wants to bring a new child into this world when you're every night you're like, do I spend this money on Hulu, Netflix, or dinner? I don't know.
Yeah.
And then they're like, well, shit, now I got to get the new iPhone 17 Plus Pro for $1,500. And then I got to pay $800 for my new BMW that I'm leasing, because, otherwise people don't respect me in the workplace. And then I got
Yep.
to buy a new suit because, God forbid, I wear some hand-me-down clothes and try and get myself a better life. It's like you live on this fiat standard and your life degrades just like the asset does. And then, okay, I was talking to a gentleman, and he was preaching gold to me. And gold is, it keeps up with your purchasing
Stagnant.
power,
Pretty
but that's
stagnant.
about it. Okay, a nice suit when gold was about what, $20 an ounce, that would buy you a nice suit, right? Well,
Yep.
now it's what, $3,500 an ounce? That will
Yep.
buy you a nice suit. So it kept up with your inflation. Congratulations, you are still meh. You're
Yeah.
you're, you're doing okay. You're not hurting as much, but there had to be something different. And Bitcoin is an appreciating value. And when you hold something and believe in something that's actually going up in value, it changes the way you think, because you want to better yourself, because your monetary system that you believe in and
It's
hold
getting better.
is getting better. And I don't know where I was going with that, but it sounded good.
Dude, and it's perfect. But that's what I'm saying. It's just like you're on a fiat standard. As your currency goes to zero, your self-worth goes to zero because your energy expended over time is tied to it. So your power is going to zero. On Bitcoin, it's completely the opposite, because it's the only currency in the entire world where your purchasing power goes up. And sure, like you said it with gold, sure, you're doing well. You're not like you're keeping up with the times, if that's exactly what you want to do. Me, I wanna live lavishly, dude. I wanna do whatever the fuck I want, whenever I want, wherever I want. And that's probably the problem with gold. And I'm like, sure, if you want to stay in one place, um, you have your gold. You've kept up with life. You're doing okay. You're doing pretty decent, but you can't move anywhere, because like try and taking that gold somewhere, right? And that's not gonna you're not gonna be able to do it. Bitcoin, I took over $100,000 worth to India, like last year.
Oh
They
no,
didn't say it. Nobody said shit. They didn't say anything. Yeah, and I'm like,
exactly.
yeah. I got my freaking cold wallet. I took it to India. I came back. They asked me when I was taking it through my pocket, like, what is that? I was like, it's my fucking wallet. And they're like, oh, okay. And I left. Like,
Yeah.
so now I can take my entire wealth with me anywhere I want in the entire world and be completely okay. And that's like a huge thing for me, especially with the fact that the purchasing power is going up. So now I can be like seriously free, and that's what they don't want you to do. Because if you are seriously free, and if your self-worth is going up with your currency, then you're going to actually portray true capitalism, which is like, productivity in society, right? And that's why everyone says fix the money, fix society, because when you fix money, you're fixing your own self-worth, which allows you to fix society, you know? And like if you're on a standard that your purchasing power is going to zero, then your self-worth is going to zero, then obviously your society is going to go to zero because there's no productivity. um,
Yeah, I mean, you'll own nothing and be happy, and I think that's what they want.
yeah.
And there has to be, Bitcoin's the only option as of right now. That's the only way out, and
And
that's why
sure, in the future there might be something better than Bitcoin, right? Like, because I'm of the thinking that history doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes, right? It just rhymes, but with better people and with more people and better tech, right? So if we have Bitcoin now as the sound money characteristic of our society, and we adopt it just like the Romans did with the denarii, or just like people did in history with their traditional currency, something else better will be there in the future when the tech scales, or when tech is better, and when there's more people. And that's a bridge we can cross when we get to there later. I don't think that's like 100
yeah,
years, 100+ years
yeah,
away.
I'm like, we'll
You
be
know?
dead, dude.
Exactly. And I think society and humanity will be at a point where they will have. I mean, we
Honestly,
still have the
though,
tools right now, but
I'll,
like,
I'll
sorry.
I'll play devil's advocate here. I don't know. It would take a special moment for something like Bitcoin to be created again and better, because not only does the person have to create it, they have to disappear and get
Yeah,
rid of all of their wealth. You have to turn down, you know, I don't know, being the richest man in the world.
basically,
You have to give that away. And then you have to never come back. The odds of that happening, pretty
are
damn
pretty
slim.
low. Yeah.
And you have to be willing to hard code this and make it so no one can print more of it. Well, most people today, if you can print more, they're gonna print more. So
Yep.
things will. I mean, I don't see a new Bitcoin ever being created in the next. I mean, 500,000 years type thing. Like, I honestly don't. I don't think that. I mean, maybe someone can try, but the way that Bitcoin's caught on, I don't think it's possible for something to catch on as much as Bitcoin has. Like, I'm sure people have already tried to recreate Bitcoin. I mean, they have,
Oh
but
yeah.
tried to recreate it, but it doesn't catch on because Bitcoin's already there. It's already won. So there's no second best. And I don't see how Bitcoin could fail without nuclear war, and then we're all dead anyway. So, I mean, who really cares?
But
But
even then, it won't, because you could still. It's just math. You could do it on paper. It would be super slow, but you could still do it on paper.
Bitcoin will still survive in the nuclear
Yeah.
war. I
Yeah.
mean, I think I would rather have bullets in that circumstance, but
Me too.
but
um.
I don't think it will ever get replaced like that. At least in, I mean, 500 to a
Oh,
thousand years.
yeah. I agree. I agree. I think that's so far away. I think that's way, way too far away. But then, um, I think like say we're in a perfect world and we're on the Bitcoin standard, right? And Bitcoin is the traditional currency that we're using, like the national reserve asset that we're using, and the currency that we're using. Um, we all go on to say that usually traditional reserve currencies have a lifespan of what, like 120 years ish. So the U.S. is what, at something around there, or 80 something years or something like that.
Yeah.
So if it applies to every single other national reserve asset or currency that's been in place, like 120-ish years as a max lifespan, then why not Bitcoin? Like, what about 120 years from now? And the thing is, we can't even see that, because it's like, what is our average lifespan as a human? It's like 50, like 70, 80 years, 80, 90 years max. So normally people don't even have the ability, or the foresight to be able to see 100 years into the future, let alone think about 100 years in the past, right?
Yeah.
Because they're just so focused on what's going on now. And in our lifespan, I don't think we find another Bitcoin. That's for sure. But maybe like 500 years, or maybe like even 200 years from now, or 300 years from now, possibilities there because we've probably, as a humanity, scaled energy, right? The more energy you scale, the more better tech you need to be able to, I guess, sustain it,
Yeah,
probably, right?
I guess there's always probably get slashed in this and for in comments or something, but I guess there's always a possibility. Bitcoin. I think it will become a global reserve currency.
Hmm.
I do believe that 100%. Will it happen in our lifetime? I hope so.
I really hope so too. Yeah.
I think it would really benefit a lot of people personally. It sucks for the people that are late to it, but that's life. Um, but I do think that if Bitcoin is the global reserve currency for the next 200 years, and who knows, maybe they come up with a new tech and it rises, and someone else is like, hey, this is
Better.
better than Bitcoin. People will still own Bitcoin,
Yeah.
and it will be in congruency with the
I
new
think,
tech.
yeah,
I
I
don't know.
think you're correct. Yeah. So,
But
eh, eh, you said something there, in terms of like people that are late. Well, they kind of, well, that's life. But it's just like electricity, right? Like electricity was invented a long fucking time ago. People still use it. New people are born every day, and I don't think they're late to it. I think everybody is reaping the benefits of electricity, right? Or
yeah,
anybody that can. And I think that's the power of Bitcoin, because people might think they're late to it, but no matter how much you divide it, it becomes more valuable because they print more money, and it also becomes more valuable if they stop printing money, because on a Keynesian kind of economic system, deflation is not great for the market, right? But technology is inherently deflationary. So like you something's got to give there. And the more they print, the more obviously the fiat value is going to go up on Bitcoin. But even if they stop printing, the fiat value is going to go up on Bitcoin because the market's going to collapse, right? Because tech is inherently deflationary. So as more tech happens, as we go forward in life, um, I think the system does break because there is a fundamental point at which you just can't keep this sustainable, right? Either technology is going to have to break or the money's going to have to break. And I don't think technology breaks. I think it's the money, because we all scale energy. We've been scaling energy as a humanity since the beginning of time. So with electricity, right now, people that are born into it, they're not late, right? They still use it. And I would say the same thing about Bitcoin. People that use it, they're not late. They're still going to use it, no matter how big or what the fraction is that people can own. Like even if you can own like 0.05,
I guess I should.
eventually.
Yeah, I guess I should retract what I said. It's not too bad. It's the people that understand and accept Bitcoin earlier, they will benefit more.
More,
The
obviously, yes.
people that do finally, fall in line, find Bitcoin, do adopt it, even if it is 100 years from now, they will still benefit because Bitcoin will only continue to go up in value. It will always keep appreciating. It will not, there's no deflationary thing about it. So they will just get a smaller amount of that upside.
Exactly.
But
But
that
it'll
really,
still be there.
yes.
It'll still be there. And when fiat does die, and when everybody is actually working for sats, everybody else that collected and did the time and the proof of work, and like every single day we're delaying gratification, it'll pay off. It'll pay off because now you're a multi freaking billionaire in sats, and everybody else is working minimum sat wage. That didn't. But eventually, everybody else gets Bitcoin at the price they deserve, and some people will get it at a price that doesn't exist because fiat doesn't exist at that point. And that's the price they deserve. Like it is what it is. You know.
Yeah. No, 100%. I mean, eventually it's got to happen. I honestly cannot fathom a different way that this goes. There's only, every fiat currency, like you said, has collapsed.
Yep.
Whether, around 100 to 120 years, they usually collapses. Some fiat currencies have collapsed multiple times. Your Venezuela, your Argentina, they collapsed
Exactly.
what, like 7, 8 times. And it's like, then they just like create a new fiat currency and it's like, sweet.
and it's pegged to the dollar. And
Yeah.
the funniest thing is it's like pegged to the dollar, and what's the dollar backed by? Absolutely fucking nothing. So the entire world's currencies are pegged to something that's backed by absolutely fucking nothing. And like that's just not sustainable. It's just not. There's gonna be a point where, man, I want to know your opinion. When do we see like $100,000 US bill? Like one bill at 100,000 US. That's my question. And I honestly,
That's a good question. I mean, honestly, our politicians are so freaking old and stupid right now. I don't think they'll do it, but I don't know, maybe 20 years,
well,
maybe.
we've seen it, right? Like they're getting rid of the penny. They're getting rid of what the dime. Eventually, they start getting rid of these currencies slowly, and then they create the newer ones because there's so much inflation, right?
I
So
guess,
maybe.
yeah, I guess that's like a slowly then suddenly thing, you know? It's gonna happen violently, maybe. So maybe 20 years is too long, because it does happen. I mean, once you start hitting inflation in the triple digits, there's only like I think Israel came back from inflation in triple digits, and like
Of
their
course they do.
currency survived. But most other countries, as soon as you hit triple digit inflation, like you're toast, you're done. And I think if once that starts happening, I mean, they start doing $500 bills, $1,000 bills, $10,000 bills. I mean, $100,000 bill isn't too far away, I guess.
It's not, and like that's well, what happens when so now when the entire world's currencies are pegged to the dollar, and when the dollar collapses, like fuck, you're gonna see like an economic meltdown, dude. And that's the burn. I want to see how they get out of that. Like, what else do you do to get out of that? There's nothing else, and probably what they're gearing, and they know that, which is why they're gearing up this whole stable coins thing. Um,
Yeah, I want
uh,
to talk to you about that. Stable coin.
with like CBDCs, is there a difference between CBDC and a stable coin? And I don't really think so, right? Like, sure, like you can. They're trying to force Bitcoin into a commodity like gold, um, and if we go like onto this whole digital landscape of the new century, and they use CBDCs as the medium of exchange or whatever, then you're trapped onto the same fiat system again. Except this time they have more control over what you do. Like, they can imagine this, like you can go into the code or whatever of a stablecoin and be like, based on your travel from point A to point B and you spending an X amount of money at Walmart, you've now expended XYZ amount of a carbon footprint, and therefore your CBDC number of how many like coins you get in your account has been slashed by half because you haven't been carbon efficient. Like, I go, what? And that's what we're talking about here. As when that pisses me off like big time, because I like my freedom. I like going what I want to do. I don't like the concept of 15-minute cities. I think that's where we're heading towards with stable coins. And then you
Especially
have
in Canada, man. You guys are leading the charge on this right now. I feel bad for you guys because elbows up, baby. Because you guys,
elbows up, pants down. Don't you? They forgot the last part of that statement. Elbows up, pants down.
yeah, dude. Because you
You're
guys
getting
are
fleeced.
going in a wild direction, and I think if you keep going that way, it's gonna be sooner rather than later in Canada. I mean, CBDC. I mean, I honestly do agree with you though. Stable coins are just a way of saying CBDC in a nice term, so
Yeah,
that way people don't understand it. But I do see that, and I do think stable coins are going to be used to keep people using the US dollar because stable coins are going to be linked to the US dollar.
exactly.
It's going to be a way for the US government to prolong their, you know, reserve currency dollar.
I
And
agree with you because it completely circumvents the Fed, right? You don't need the Fed with a stable coin or a CBDC, and you could print the shit out of it without needing the Fed at all, whenever you want. And on top of that, you can control the citizens. And on top of that, you can control like the mining. Oh, it's so fucked. It's so fucked because now if you circumvent the Fed entirely, you're basically just saying, hey, that $37 trillion that we're in debt for, oh, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. And then poof, restart. And they can do that. And they can do that. And everyone will be like, all right, cool, I guess. This is progress. But it's not. It's like it's a fight against they're portraying this as progress, but it's just a rug of your energy even more to the point where it's just like you're just not going to be able to move around or do anything. I'm going to be okay stacking sats. I know that for sure because I've been doing it forever. In Canada too, it's so fucked, and I see it happening. Like a lot of what they do in China is what they're doing here, and they're just adopting. Even what is it? The just yesterday there was news about a yuan-backed stablecoin being issued by China. So like, yeah, it's a yuan-backed stablecoin being issued by China. They're gonna use it this year until they ban it again. Apparently, who fucking knows at this point? But if they trial run that there, and Canada's just the freaking test bed for what they're doing in China. They're gonna trial run it in Canada, and now you're cooked here as well. And you're sitting in a quote unquote dictatorship. Well, actually, a dictatorship disguised as a quote unquote democracy, right?
Yeah.
And like, I don't see any other way or option for me than to just buy Bitcoin, like get incredibly wealthy, and then freaking leave. Like, there's nothing else for me to do here. Like I've tried. I work with the government, right? And I try to pitch Bitcoin in every single kind of government organization, like meetup I go to, or just in terms of like union stuff that I go to, and I'm always trying to orange pill people there, and it's not there because government is so slow. But it's just like, oh my God, I think Canada is not on a track for success at all whatsoever. If they implement the CBDC, which I think they will, everybody here is cooked, especially because everyone here is like zombified. They're so zombified to the point where they don't know what to eat next. And they're making like six-figure salaries, and they're so zombified with life. I see people at the gym, they're talking to me like, man, it's just getting harder and harder and harder every year. And I was like, yeah, you should. Have you tried Bitcoin? And they're like, no, that's a scam. And I'm like, oh my God, dude. Like,
You literally are telling me face to face that your life sucks, but
yeah,
you won't listen to anything I have to say because
nothing.
my life is getting better, and
Yeah.
I'm trying to show you how.
And they're like, oh my God. And I'm like, you're literally to my face telling me that your purchasing power is going to shit. You're seeing that your purchasing power is going to shit. And I'm showing you that that's your problem. And you completely understand that that is the problem. But now I show you the answer, and that's not the answer. And I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God. I don't understand. I don't understand. But yeah, it's getting hard for people here. They're slowly bleeding dry. And man, I know this shouldn't be happening. I know people that are making six-figure salaries going to what is it, like food banks here, dude. And they own a house, and they got like 3 kids, and they got like 2 cars, and like the family, and like a life, and they're going to food banks. And I'm like, holy shit. Like, how, as a person that owns a house, has a nice family, lives in a nice neighborhood, makes over 6 figures a year, net, and you have to go to a food bank, right?
Soon, soon those food banks are going to be empty because
Yeah,
I mean, the further this goes, the less money, the less people will give. I mean, food banks don't just get food because they grow it themselves. Like food banks get food because people donate them. And
exactly.
I mean, food banks, at least here in Florida, I saw, and you're always welcome to come join me down here. It's paradise. No, food banks, I saw on the news like a week or two ago, they were like, food banks are at an all time low for donations. And I'm like, okay, so if you have middle class people, that are supposed to be middle class going to food banks, how that's not sustainable either because middle class people are usually the ones donating to food banks.
Exactly.
So that food bank's gonna run out. No one else is donating. And so it's
And
like
so,
then comes your CBDC where it's like, hey bro, you bought a steak today. That's like a week's worth of your CBDC because of the emissions that cow did. And
yeah,
then, you drove way too far today. So
yeah.
you don't have an electric car. So
They're banning gas cars in Canada by 30.
That's still a thing in Canada?
Yeah. They
I'm
want to
not
get rid of
surprised.
gas cars, and I'm just like, wow, so retarded. Like I understand the whole concept, but man, if you just freaking there's no infrastructure. They haven't done the infrastructure to be able to make electric cars efficient here in Canada. You're going to destroy the roads. Okay? There's not the infrastructure is not there. You haven't put in the money and now you want to ban gas cars. Okay, you put in electric cars on the road. They're going to destroy the roads. Now you have to pay more in taxes to fix the roads, which are never going to get fixed, but all of the cars are now banned, and now you have to pay more for electricity because of electric vehicles. And oh yeah, carbon tax. Oh yeah, now road tax. Oh yeah, now we gotta. It's just a shit show of epic proportions in Canada, dude. I don't understand. I can't be the smartest person in the room, and I hate the fact that I feel that way. But every single freaking conversation, in terms of a high level, is mediocre on fiat. It's just garbage, and I tell people it's garbage. They're like, it can't be garbage. We've lived on this for 100+ years, and I'm like, wow, you're retarded.
It's hard to like keep yourself calm when you talk to someone that's so embedded. Because it's like I can feel my blood pressure like going up.
Yeah.
It's like, you're retarded. Like, what is wrong with you?
Like, how do you not? You're telling me the answer to your problem, and then you're not abiding by the answer. Man, it's like, and that's the whole IQ aspect of it. Like, they say, like, there's the absolute retards that don't care about the price and buy the Bitcoin, and then there's like the super smart people that don't care about the price and buy Bitcoin, and then there's people in the middle like, but inflation is like a simple thing, and it's like 10% a year, and like it's fine. We don't need to do anything. CBDCs are great for you, but it's like too risky and too volatile, and Bitcoin's not the answer. And like you get like 20% drops on a day. Man, I don't care. Like,
Yeah.
holy crap! Like it's not a get rich free. Sorry, it's not a get rich fast scheme. It's you have to get free, and that's slow. Truth is slow. Truth takes time, and that's why consensus is a thing, right? Consensus takes time. It's verifiable. It's scalable, but it takes forever, and that's not um like a drawback or a deficit of truth, right? Truth takes forever because you need to find the objective reality based on everybody else's reality that's floating around in the system. And that takes time, right? Like you have these CBDCs that are like, "Oh, look at us doing 10 freaking transactions per second at the speed of light, blah blah blah." Yeah, but where's your freaking truth? Like there's no truth chain there. You don't have a genesis block. You don't have like half of the things that need you to be money, the properties of money. All you're saying is, "Oh, we're faster." Nobody gives a shit about faster. People care about truth, right? And that's the era we're living in. Like and unfortunately that takes time. So you're gonna have to stick with Bitcoin. You're gonna have to stick with it. People will use it, but man, it's just the market that decides what fees people are going to make, what transactions get through, why. Like it's consensus based, right? And that's it's Austrian economics on the basic fundamental aspects of everything, and it takes time, and that's probably why we went on to the Keynesian aspect of things, anyways, because you could fucking print whenever you want, and the markets decide at super fast rates, right?
Yeah. No.
So like,
that was that was a great rant. I love that.
oh man, I rant about this stuff so much to people, so much, and
Yeah.
they're like, well, yeah, but speed. And it's like, okay, dude, like even if you think about Visa, you go get a Starbucks drink and you tap your freaking Visa card and you think, oh, I just paid. No, it takes 2 days to settle. It
Yeah.
takes 48 hours for it to settle, but you just saw it on your bank account app because they posted a fucking number there and they said, we'll settle it later. Like you and you thought that was speed, and that's not speed. Like nobody is trying to solve that fucking problem. And you sitting here talking to me about we're gonna take over Swift as the CBDC scale, and we're gonna take. Nobody cares, man. Like,
No, we just want freedom. We want the
Yeah.
government to leave us the fuck alone. Let us
Yeah.
live our lives and stop making my life harder. That's all I want.
That's
Just
all I want. That's all I fucking want. And that's why I stack sats, to be fair. That is it, because I want my freedom. And fine, that'll take time. But man, I'm 31. If it takes me 10 years to retire, as opposed to 65, which is like another 32-ish years away, I'll take the 10. I'll take the 10. And people that seems slow. 10 years is a long time. But dude, 30 years as opposed to 30 years.
Dude, I don't even think it's gonna take 10.
Yeah.
If you are convicted right now and if you just work your ass off, like, dude, maybe 5 years. Like, I don't think any of us Bitcoiners want to retire because we love doing shit. We love
Yeah.
producing stuff.
I
So
don't
we
even
don't
want to
want to
leave my government
retire.
job. I don't want to retire. I want to make the government a better. That's the thing. Everyone on fiat wants to retire. On government, you want. Sorry, on Bitcoin, you want the systems that you're working in to get better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we want to improve life. We
Yeah.
want things to get better, and that's the beauty of it.
And
Because
that's capitalism. That is capitalism through and through. And that's on an Austrian. See now we're on the definition of what capitalism is on an Austrian economic scale, and that's you getting better through proof of work and making the niche that you're in better through proof of work, and then not wanting to leave because you love what you're doing, right? And then on a fiat standard, on a Keynesian economic system, what are we doing? We're not even making anything better. We're creating jobs that don't even need to be there. That don't even need to be there. How much like random freaking even my job out of school, right? I could have done that job out of high school. Cuz what is it? It's just a big like what we're doing right now. It's just a big exchange of information. Like, "Oh, I know about this product that does something. You need information about that product? Here, let me tell you about it, dude. Oh, you like it? You want to buy it from me? Here you go. There, done." Like, and I don't even deal with the money, right? It's just a conversation that we had, and apparently you need a degree to be able to do this. No, like you don't. They're creating fake jobs out of nowhere. They're creating CPI data out of nowhere, unemployment data out of nowhere, inflation data out of nowhere, just random. And then they give it to you, and you're just like, wow, I hate my life. I want to retire. Because you don't like what you're doing on fiat. You don't want to get better on fiat. And it's just,
no, no, I mean, I never want to retire.
yeah.
I would much rather keep building in my passions, which is Bitcoin. I would much rather build something in here, and then I mean, obviously, I would want to retire if I had, the fiat soul sucking job.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you know what? The fastest way out of that is if you're putting your money into an appreciating value asset. And
Well, yeah, now even I tell people it's just like I was like, don't hold dollars. Like that's the worst thing you can do. Fine, you don't agree with Bitcoin? Fine, whatever. I don't care. At least save yourself. Don't hold dollars, man. Like dollars bleed so fast. You're not gonna what is the point of holding dollars? You're not gonna it's not gonna do anything for you. It's gonna be worth less, and you're just gonna hate yourself even more. So what is it you enjoy? Equities? Fine, hold equities. Bonds? Fine, hold bonds. But like Bitcoin, fine, hold Bitcoin. Housing, real estate, is that what you know? Fine, hold that. Don't hold dollars, like whatever you do. And I don't know how that's not a big problem for everyone when you just tell people not to hold the currency that is the national reserve currency of the world. Like, isn't that just a freaking like? Shouldn't that just trigger you to be like, why are we on the dollar if we're not supposed to hold the dollar? Like why doesn't that get you to ask that question? Like, how is it just normal for people to be like, yeah, sure, I'll hold assets, I won't hold the dollar. Why are you holding assets in the first place? To make
well,
sure your dollar doesn't die. But apparently your dollar is a national reserve currency, and you're afraid that it's gonna die. Like there's something so freaking wrong with this entire world. I don't understand. And I'm like, all right, fine. That's the paradigm you want to live in. Fine. Don't hold the dollars, hold the assets. And eventually you'll realize that they're like the best asset there is Bitcoin, right? Because I don't have to worry about tenants. I don't have to worry about like LTBs. I don't have to worry about mortgage interest rates. I don't have to worry about freaking, fixing up something in my house or fixing up something in Bitcoin. I don't have to worry. Like, I don't have to worry about any of that stuff. All I have to worry about is running a node, holding an air-gapped cold wallet, and just contributing to the conversations of the Bitcoin ethos. And I fucking love doing it, right? Like, that's what I'm here for. And man, if me doing that is what is causing Bitcoin to appreciate 200,000% every 20 years, I'm so in, dude. That is freaking phenomenal, right? Like,
100%. Right on, man. Wait, I don't want to take up too much of your time.
oh, for sure.
Yeah. No, I've appreciated this. This was super fun, man. I really do appreciate it. We'll love to do this again. Maybe
I will
maybe
definitely come on again, dude. I love doing podcasts. I love talking about Bitcoin. You and I, we interact on the timeline every other day, and
Yeah.
I'm just like, I love just freaking throwing chaos on there, dude, because it makes shit fun. And if I can make it fun for everyone, then I'm doing my contribution in Bitcoin, dude. Like, it's just, if I'm letting people enjoy their own energy and just, coming in, like I run a space every Tuesday with the Bitcoin Army, right? So I run
Yeah.
I run
Show your handle and all that, and what spaces you have.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. My handle is JM_speaks with 2 S's. So SPEAKSS. Yeah. I didn't, I wanted to troll the dyslexic folks, so I put in 2 S's there. And I run a space every Tuesday with the Bitcoin Army. I'm with the Bitcoin Army. Join the Bitcoin Army. If you buy Bitcoin, you are part of the army. Like, that's it for me. You don't have to do much else. Like, just buy Bitcoin, you're part of the army. And then we run spaces pretty much every day, every night, Monday to Sunday. Some days we're doing 2 spaces. My space is on Tuesdays at 9 p.m. It's a non-recorded space. You can come onto there and talk whatever you want to talk about, or rant like I do, because I love ranting.
Dude, I love the rants. I love
Yeah,
them.
man. And unrecorded, I think it really just sets it keeps people more comfortable to just be themselves a little bit. So they come onto the space, and I just talk about whatever, like how we talked about here. I think every single conversation or topic in this entire world leads to Bitcoin. So I just pick a topic, and we all talk about that topic, and somehow at the end it ends up leading to Bitcoin, right? And it just does. And the name of my space is called The Wandering Road. So we're all pretty lonely on this wandering road. We were pretty lonely on Twitter talking about Bitcoin. With nobody seeing us. It's a pretty lonely road. And then you meet all these Bitcoiners, and it stops being less lonely, but it's still wandering. And so we got to walk that path, and we got to go through that journey. And then at the end, whatever topic we're talking about, it's just like, holy shit, yeah, back to Bitcoin, confirmed. I'm gonna buy more, and that's my Tuesday show. So,
dude, that's awesome. Even though we talk about a lot of shit in the world, it always makes me more bullish when we talk about Bitcoin. I mean, I always want to go buy more. I'm just like, why do I even have dollars still in my? Why do I need an emergency fund? I'm just like, fuck it, let's just go buy.
Yeah, dude, I was contemplating selling like the house I live in and just living in a cardboard box and just fuck it.
I don't think my wife would appreciate that, but
she'll enjoy it in like 3 years. She'll be like, "Oh my god, you're a genius."
All right, man.
All right, brother. It was really nice meeting you, dude. Really nice talking to you. I would most definitely want to come on again, dude. This is awesome. I love Bitcoin podcast.